Today is a very auspicious day, Pap Mochani Ekadashi. We are observing Ekadashi as per instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exclusively to please Krishna, not for any other motives. How? By giving up all sinful activities, all enjoyments, and with all good qualities to remain near Krishna. All good qualities means devotion. In Bhagavatam that verse is there. One who has devotion has all good qualities. If one does not have devotion to Krishna, but apparently he has some good qualities, they are like decorations on a dead body, means useless. So with all good qualities, with devotion, we have to remain near. But how we can remain near? Only through service. Surrendering to bona fide Guru and engaging in the service of Krishna as per Guru's order. Especially we have to do Harinam, chanting holy name without tenfold offenses, as Mahaprabhu also showed by his own example. And there are 5 forms of devotion. 5 are Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathurabhas, and Shri Murtir Shradaya Sevan. First is Sadhu Sangha, because without Sadhu Sangha we cannot know about the name, how to chant, we cannot know. Sambandha Gyan we cannot know. And then we can do chanting, and properly hearing Bhagavata means for the satisfaction of Krishna, not for any ulterior desires. That also we have to hear from Sadhu. Sarup Damodar told to that Brahmin, Jaho Bhagavat Poro Vaishnava Rustane, Ekanta Ashre Koro Chaitanya Charane. Chaitanya Bhaktagone Nitya Koro Sangha, Tove to Janivas Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. Go and study Bhagavatam from pure devotee. We have to study Grantha Bhagavat from Bhakta Bhagavat. And you take exclusive shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you associate with personal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his devotees. Then you will be able to know the waves in the unlimited ocean of Siddhanta, means scriptural conclusive thoughts. What the scripture is telling. You cannot know by knowing the language and by intellect and by worldly experience and by logic and all this. Impossible. Yasya deve parabhaktir jatha deve tata guru tasete katita hyartam prakashante mahatmana. You will find in Katha Upanishad. If one has devotion to Supreme Lord and same devotion to Guru, same as to Supreme Lord, then to such a person the meaning of Shastra is revealed. So that we have to do. So we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Now the Sutta Goswami will speak about Parikshit Maharaj. Here we heard last time, self-controlled persons who are attached to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna can all of a sudden give up the world of material attachment, including the gross body and subtle mind, and go away to attain the highest perfection of the renounced order of life, by which non-violence and renunciation are consequential, automatic. When you are attached to Krishna, you are detached from this world, and there is no question of any violence to any living entity. Seeing them in relation to Krishna, and renunciation, no other desire except service of Krishna. Aham hi prishtoryamano bhavadbhir achaksha atma vagamo trayavan nabah patantyatma samam patat trinas tatha samam vishnu gatim vipaschitaha. O rishis, who are as powerfully pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. Sun can absorb everything and purifying everything. Like that, devotees are like that. I read somewhere recently, but I forgot. This example was maybe in Chandogya Upanishad or somewhere. This purifying effect of the sun. And sadhus, they can absorb anything. And here also, Sutta Goswami is telling, no devotee can have vanity at any time, because when he is in contact with unlimited reality, how he can be proud? I know everything. Impossible. Supreme Lord is unlimited, and according to submission, to that extent, his glories will be revealed in the heart of such surrendered soul. But surrender also has no end. As Supreme Lord has no end, surrender also has no end, realization also has no end. So devotees, they are always humble, and they are expressing like this. As far as my capacity is there. But that does not mean that there is any material deficiency there. They are beyond Maya. So there is no defect in their real pure devotees. They have no defects of Maya, these four things. Imperfect senses, cheating propensity, then committing mistakes, and four are there. These defects are in conditioned souls, but pure devotee, they are above this, they are above Maya. So there is no defect in their Harikatha and in their life also. Here, there. No, not misidentification. Those are four anarthas. One is four anarthas is first of the four anarthas is what is happening now? My video stopped or what? I put chat, but I don't know what happened. Yes, I know about Swarup Brahm. That is four anarthas. One is Swarup Brahm, and from Swarup Brahm, misidentification of self. with matter. Then comes asatrishna, this thirst for non-eternal things, and offenses, and weakness of heart. These are 4 types of anarthas, but I was speaking about 4 types of defects of conditioned souls, which Shastra is not having and realized devotee is also not having. Imperfect senses, then bewilderment, and cheating propensity, and committing mistake. So they're above these 4 types of defects of conditioned soul, but still they cannot say, I know everything, because Supreme Lord is unlimited. So they're always humble. Realization has got no end. Although they very boldly they preach to conditioned souls about absolute truth. There is no defect in that. But inside, they are not proud. Never. It is impossible. Because that is of dynamic character. It is not static. You cannot catch him. As far as their realization allows. So if some pure devotee expresses humbleness in relation to unlimited Supreme Lord, yes, this is what I want to say. We should not mistake that to be some kind of material defect in them. Some people, they think like this, that yes, I saw also he did some mistake or something, but we should not think they are like conditioned souls. If we think they're just something more advanced, but still they are defective, then that will be wrong. It will be offense. For pure devotees, they are above this, so we should not bring them down. Krishna knows who is a real devotee. By our external judgment, we may commit mistake. Only what Krishna reveals to a surrendered soul, he can recognize devotee. Like you cannot recognize Krishna, you cannot recognize devotee also without their grace. Ekada dhanu udyamya vicharan mrigayam vane mrigan anugata shranta kudita strishito brisham jalashayam achakshana pravivesha tam ashramam dadarsha munim asinam shantam militalochanam. Bhagavatam is the best scripture. Aradhya Bhagavan Brajashatana Taddam Vrindavanam Ramekachita Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam is spotless evidence, the best of all scriptures. That is why Mahaprabhu told, you hear Bhagavatam. Only when Vyasadeva wrote Bhagavatam, he got eternal bliss. He was not satisfied by writing all other scriptures before. When he wrote Bhagavatam, he was satisfied. That is why all Goswamis also, they based all their writings based on Bhagavatam evidence. Once upon a time, Maharaj Parikshit, while engaged in hunting in the forest with bow and arrows, became extremely fatigued, hungry and thirsty while following these stags. While searching for a reservoir of water, he entered the hermitage of the well-known Shamik Rishi and saw the sage sitting silently with closed eyes. Prati Rudhendriya Prana Mano Buddhim Uparatam Stanatrayat Param Praptam Brahma Bhutam Avikriyam. The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind and intelligence were all restrained from material activities. And he was situated in a trance, the samadhi. Apart from the three, that is wakefulness, dream, and unconsciousness or deep sleep, having achieved a transcendental position qualitatively equal with the Supreme Absolute. When those who are pure, they will meditate, they will be totally out of this world, totally out of material energy, and with their devotional spiritual eye, with soul's eye, with real self's eye, they will see Krishna Lila and they will serve him. So on that platform, Jiva is also transcendental. So qualitatively same, transcendental. But of course, there are differences also. We are small, he is big, and we are potency, he is potent. But both are transcendentally situated. So you can have contact with Krishna only by those transcendental senses in samadhi. So there are three material consciousness. You will find in Upanishads also, that Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and in Vedanta Sutra also. Wakefulness, like this, we are aware of these external things. Then dream. Dream is your gross body is inactive, but subtle body is active. And you are seeing many things in dream. That is created by Krishna. As this wakeful state is also created by Krishna. According to our karma, the dream world also is created by Krishna according to our karma. And there is another deep sleep, where even you are not aware of subtle plane. You are totally beyond. That is like being merged in Brahman, that deep sleep. No dream, no nothing. It is compared with realization of Brahman. Jiva every day, at least for some time, enters into that deep sleep. Still awareness is there, but not in relation to this material world. There is no object to be seen, either gross or subtle. But consciousness is still there. Awareness is still there, but no object is perceived. Unless you are in contact with Krishna, then that is transcendental object, not this material. So when one wakes up from deep sleep, he still remembers, I slept well. So awareness was there also, but no relation with any object, grosser this. So above all these three, because from deep sleep, again you have to come down. Deep sleep is not liberated state. It is only you are out of gross and subtle things for some time. Then again, you have to come out. But samadhi is above these three states. Then you have two types of samadhi. One is like impersonal or also Paramatma. That is transcendental also. But complete samadhi is when you realize Bhagavan, Supreme Lord. Like Vyasadeva we read before in Bhagavatam, he saw Supreme Lord and Maya and Jiva and relation, all Sambandha Gyan he saw. he also saw Abhideya. Jiva is conditioned because she is averse to Krishna, and only by submitting to Krishna she can be rescued. And ultimate goal of life is love of God. So Shamik Rishi, he was in Samadhi, so he was not aware of anything outside. Like in deep sleep, you are not aware of anything. Even, hypnosis in psychology, they know. By hypnosis, your attention will be so much on one object that even at that time, if they do some operation, they may cut your hand or whatever they do, still you will not feel any pain because your attention is so much at that one point. So you are not aware, you are not aware of that pain or nothing. So what to speak of deep sleep or this transcendental plane? They're totally out of this world. They are in that world. Viprakirna jatha chanam raurave najinena cha vishushya talur udakam tatha bhutam ayachata. The sage in meditation was covered by the skin of a stag, and long compressed hair was scattered all over him. Jata, that dreadlocks, jata. The king, whose palate was dry from thirst, asked him for water. Jota. In Bengali they say Jota. Those sadhus, they keep Jota here. Alabda trina bhumi adir asam praptarghya sunritaha avagyatam ivatmanam manya manaschukopaha. The king, not received by any formal welcome, by means of being offered a seat, place, water, and sweet addresses, considered himself neglected, and so thinking he became angry. Abhuta purvak sahasa kshut tridbyam arditatmana brahmanam prati abhut brahman matsaro manyur evacha. O Brahmanas, the king's anger and envy directed toward the Brahmana sage were unprecedented, being that circumstances had made him hungry and thirsty. Because here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he told, and Swami Maharaj also here, he told, king himself was not less than a great saint. He was already beyond thirst and hunger. He could tolerate this, like Goswamis. So his becoming angry and taking action were astonishing. So it must be accepted that it was so ordained by the supreme will of the Lord. By the will of Supreme Lord, the circumstances were so created that they became ways to the king's becoming unattached to family connection and governmental activities, and thus becoming a completely surrendered soul unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Yes, the merciful Lord sometimes creates such awkward positions for his pure devotees in order to drag them towards himself from the mire of material existence. The point was that Krishna wanted to bring Parikshit Maharaj quickly to him. So he inspired him from within, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, to become angry like this. It was not in his character. like Anya Bilasita Shunyam. Why Rupa Goswami did not say Anya Bilasa Shunyam, but Anya Bilasita? Because devotees naturally they have no any other desire. But sometimes due to pressure of circumstance, they may say, if they are like about to be killed, they will say, "Oh Krishna, please protect me." That is not pure devotional. They will say, but it is also not natural to them. It is due to circumstance. So after that circumstance is over, they will not have that. So the point is, like you know, when Dhruva was in forest, then there are ferocious animals. Ferocious means they will eat human being. But because Dhruva was protected by Supreme Lord, being surrendered to him, that lion, although it is his nature to want to eat human being, was stopped by Supreme Lord, that nature, because Dhruva was protected. And in this case, it is opposite. It was not in the nature of King Parikshit to become angry like this. But he became, because of desire of Supreme Lord, to create such circumstance that two reasons. One is he wanted to bring Maharaj Parikshit quickly to himself. Another is Krishna wanted to manifest Srimad Bhagavatam through Shukadev Goswami. So he made. That is why we are having many problems in this world. Gurudev always told, you should not blame others. They may be instrumental. But still we don't accept, and we try to change others. We think, if I change others, then I will be free from suffering. Because we think they are the cause. So we are very much engaged in changing others, thinking that will solve the problem. But the point is, even if you succeed to change that person to have good nature, he may have bad nature, but you can change him that he will have good nature. But if I have certain suffering to get by some misbehavior due to my previous bad actions, that result may come even through that good-natured person to me. He will not be implicated in that, but by Krishna's desire he may be used as instrumental that misbehavior will come to me because I have to get it. So that we learn this point, that we cannot solve the problem by changing others. We have to change ourselves. Sometimes Krishna does like this, to show you that you cannot solve problem by changing others. Even through good-natured person changed, you can get that suffering, and he will not be guilty. And he will not have to get reaction for that action, because I had to get that, and Krishna used him only. Here is the proof, scriptural proof, that this can happen. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur clearly said it was not in nature of Parikshit Maharaj, but it was inspired by Krishna to do this misbehavior. As we will see later, he regretted, and he himself was astonished how this was possible. It was unprecedented. Yes, were unprecedented. Yes, the king knew well that Brahmanas, sages, children, women, and old men are always beyond the jurisdiction of punishment. Yes. But in this case, Maharaj Parikshit became angry and envious at the sage due to his thirst and hunger by the will of the Lord. Yes, it was unprecedented. As the Lord is never envious of anyone, so also Lord's devotee is never envious of anyone. The only justification for Maharaj Parikshit's behavior is that it was ordained by the Lord. And this ordainment of the Lord can happen to us also. We try very much to change someone and we can succeed. He becomes a very good person, good nature, still will get that suffering. Because ordained by Krishna. We cannot escape by any wrong process. There is only one process how we can be released from all suffering, only one way. We should not blame anyone and we have to fully submit to Krishna. Not praying to be released from suffering. Because devotees, they think, why I will ask Krishna to release me from karma? I did wrong actions. I am his servant. Why I should make him my servant? Why he should destroy that? I did wrong activities. I should get what I deserve. I don't mind about that. Only I want to serve him. That is pure devotion. No separate desire. So if one can get such mood inside his heart, then he can be rescued from all sufferings at once. But if there is any separate desire, even this, to be rescued from suffering, unlawfully, that will also not work. We have to change ourselves, rectify it. Satu Brahma Risher Angshe Gatasum Uragam Rusha Vinirgachan Dhanus Kotya Nidhaya Puram Agata. While leaving, the king, being so insulted, picked up a lifeless snake with his bow and angrily placed it on the shoulder of the sage. Then he returned to his palace. This is the nature of conditioned soul. If someone does something to us, disrespect or some violence or something, then we become disturbed and we want to take revenge. But real sadhu is tolerant as a tree. He does not take any revenge. He is always thinking, I did some bad actions, so I'm getting, or he's tolerating and forgiving, like Prahlad, like this. Of course, this is not the case of Parikshit Maharaj. Here it was ordained by Supreme Lord, but conditioned souls, we do this. It is very difficult to come out from this. It is automatic by our nature. Only when we can conquer our conditioned nature and be situated on spiritual soul platform, then it is possible to be tolerant as a tree. Otherwise not. Automatically it will happen. Someone will cut the tree, he will not protest. But our Gurudev told, if someone gives me a slap, I want to give him back 2 slaps. Not only 1, 2. Esha kim nibrita shesha karano militekshana mrisha samadir ahosvit kim nusyat kshatra bandhuvi. Upon returning, he began to contemplate and argue within himself whether the sage had actually been in meditation with senses concentrated and eyes closed, or whether he had just been feigning trance just to avoid receiving a lower kshatriya. Samadhi ahosvit. the king, in the commentary, the king, being a devotee of the Lord, did not approve of his own action. And thus he began to wonder whether the sage was really in a trance or was just pretending in order to avoid receiving the king. Repentance comes in the mind of a good soul as soon as he commits something wrong. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Jiva Goswami do not believe that the king's action was due to his past misdeeds. The arrangement was so made by the Lord just to call the king back home, back to Godhead. It was not due to his bad nature. It happened because he had no bad nature. He was already pure. It was not under the pressure of some bad samskaras or some revengeful attitude like this due to conditioned nature. No, it was by the will of Krishna. So he can do. So this we have to understand that Krishna can do this. So even if we succeed in changing my enemy, or I see him as my enemy, I think he is giving me suffering, because of him I'm getting suffering, so enemy. So I have to change his nature. Even if I succeed, still I will get that suffering. Either through someone else, or even through this same changed person by the will of Krishna. So that I can understand that it is due to my karma, not due to others. Yes, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the plan was made by the will of the Lord. And by the will of the Lord, the situation of frustration was created. The plan was that for his so-called misdeed, the king could be cursed by an inexperienced Brahmana boy infected by the influence of Kali, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur later said that even that boy also was acting under the will of Krishna. All three, Shamik Muni, his son Shringi, and Parikit, all were under the influence of Krishna. To here further, and thus the king would leave his heart and home for good. His connection with Srila Shukadeva Goswami would enable the presentation of the great Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered to be a book incarnation of the Lord. The king's distressed condition was certainly unprecedented. Yes, the devotees like Maharaj Parikit are powerful enough to forbear such distresses like hunger and this by the will of the Lord, and they are never disturbed. The situation in this case was therefore all planned by the Lord. Tasya putro titejasvi viharan balakori viharan balakor bhakai ragya gham prapitam tatam shrutva tatridam abravit. The sage had a son who was very powerful, being a Brahmana's son. While he was playing with inexperienced boys, he heard of his father's distress, which was occasioned by the king. Then and there, the boy spoke as follows. You will find in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There it is written how a Brahmin can, by his speech, by some process, by his speech he can kill someone. So powerful. If someone, but there is justification, there is some reason. If someone does something wrong or something, then if Brahman will say this, as a punishment, it will happen. There it is. Aho adharmah palanam pivnam balibhujam iva swamini agham yat dasanam dvara panam shunam iva. The Brahmana's son Shringi said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles governing servants. Brahmin is superior to Kshatriya. Yes. So Kshatriya should not. Brahmanai Kshatra Bandurhi Griha Palo Nirupitaha Sakatam Tad Grihe Dvaksta Sabhandam Bhoktum Arhati. The descendants of the kingly orders are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. On what grounds can dogs enter the house and claim to dine with the master on the same plate? Like Brahmins. They are inferior Kshatriyas. They are inferior. Krishna Gate Bhagavati Shastari Utpata Gaminam Tadbhinna Setun Adyaham Shasmi Pashyata Me Balam. After the departure of Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead and supreme ruler of everyone, these upstarts have flourished, our protector being gone. Therefore, I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power. Like before, Parikshit Maharaj said, now Krishna is gone, but I'm here. So you, Kali, you have no place here in my kingdom. I will kill you. Then Kali surrendered and we heard. So here also, this Brahmin boy also said, now Krishna is gone, that is okay. But I am here. I have to punish them. Iti uktva rosha tamraksho vayasyan rishi balakah kaushiki apa upasprisya vak vajram visasarjaha. O son of the rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of the river Kaushika while speaking to his playmates and discharged the following thunderbolt of words. Yes, there it is written, by words they can do. Iti langita marjadam takshakah saptamehani dankshati sma kulangaram choditum me tata druham. The Brahmana's son cursed the king thus. On the 7th day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of that dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit, because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. Let me see if I can find there. Maybe tomorrow I will try to find in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There is a procedure. If someone does any harm to some unjustified harm, then Brahmin can do this. Punish by his words, and it will happen. That is why we find later on that everyone is afraid of Durvasa Rishi. But though Durvasa Rishi is so powerful, sannyasi and Brahmin, is yogi, jnani, still his curse could not touch Ambarish Maharaj because he is pure devotee. He is protected by Supreme Lord. But otherwise, that Brahmin's curse, no one can be rescued. So powerful. Here, this was arranged, but Parikshit Maharaj also told, I am astonished. I was cursed by a Brahmin and I will die surely. How is it that Ambarish Maharaj was protected? Today we are following Ekadashi. We have to remember this. Ambarish Maharaj, because of following Ekadashi, and he was pure devotee, he became pure devotee. He was not before, but by sadhana, sincere sadhana, he became pure devotee. Gradually, he could conquer all other desires. Our Gurudev told, you will find in Ambarish Maharaj, this word is used there, gradually you can win over senses, these desires, all this. So if he could get, we can also get, but we have to practice sincerely and gradually we can get. So Ambarish Maharaj is a pure devotee. So Brahmin's curse could not touch him. Or Narad Goswami, when he was staying in Dwaraka, that curse of Daksha Prajapati could not work there, because that is transcendental flame. But in that mundane world, it is Lila. Narad Goswami is traveling all the time. So I will try to find, no, tomorrow is some auspicious day. I will see if there will be any time, or maybe on Monday, I can find that description about Brahmin cursing. Tato Bietya Shramam Balo Gale Sarpa Kalevaram Pitaram Vikshya Dukharto Mukta Canto Ruroda Ha. Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief he cried very loudly. Sava Angiraso Brahman Shrutva Sutta Vilapanam Unmilya Shanaker Netre Drishtva Chamshe Mritoragam. O Brahmanas, the Rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck. Means Shamik Muni came out of Samadhi. Visrijya tamcha papracha vatsa kasmadhirodishi kena vate pakritam iti ukta sa nyavedayat. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. So, next time, either tomorrow, if there will be time, or on Monday, we will further hear what happened. But the point is, Bishwan Chakravarti Thakur explained that all three were under the will of Supreme Lord. Parikshit Maharaj, Shamik Rishi and Shringi, all sons. They were all engaged by Supreme Lord to make this so that his plan would be fulfilled. So we should not commit offense to any of them. Even to Shringi, because generally it is explained that also father will say that you are a Brahmin, why you don't have forgiveness power? And now Kali Yuga starting, so Brahmanas becoming polluted like that. That is also true, but here it was arranged by Krishna. So we should not commit offense.